Blog Talk Radio.
Weekend, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Psychic Talk Radio. I'm Dax Carlisle, coming to you live from Tucson, Arizona. And joining me is the fabulous Mary Brown. Hey, Mary. Happy Saturday.
Hey, Dax. Yeah. Hey, Dax. Hey, everybody. Happy Psychic Saturday.
It's Psychic Saturday. We love our Saturdays because it's on the weekend and all laid back and everything. And we just, we stay in our PJs and get our coffee and, chat with some folks out there and do some mini readings. And occasionally we have a topic. Today we actually have a topic. We're doing a psychic spin segment, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Do you all have your Christmas shopping done? Oh my God, I can't believe it's almost that time. What do you think, Mary?
Oh, I know. I almost do. You know what happens to me is, I try to get a jump on it. I start doing my shopping, before Thanksgiving, and sometimes even earlier, and then I forget that I've done that because then I hide what I got, and then I'm like, oh, I totally forgot that I got them something. It's just like I start all over again. So yeah, trying to get ahead, I end up not getting ahead.
I've had that happen. Yeah. And
we
are a live
but I love this
show.
Time of year.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I got all the decorations up and everything's looking swanky and everything like that. Hey, I wanted to remind everybody we're a live call-in show, so give us a ring at 714-816-4628. We'd love to chat with you. You can also join us in the chat room on the brand new Tarot Guild website. We launched a brand new website, just had our 15th anniversary. We're in our 16th year of the Tarot Guild. I can't believe it, Mary. And we're coming up, actually, in January 20th, it's my mom's birthday, and January 20th, 2020 is the 10th anniversary of the launch of our first ever radio show, Tarot Today Radio, and our first ever website, which was built on the same platform that our new website is built on, Ning. It's a social networking platform, and I basically call it Facebook for Tarot. It has all the same features as those big name social media type things, but instead it's, all tarot all the time. And it's thetarotguild.com. And you can join us in the chat room on there. We have a live chat room. It's thetarotguild.com/chat. That's right. Come over and join us in the chat room. You can ask questions in there. You can make comments. You can ask for a mini reading right in the chat room. If you're listening live somewhere else, just open a new tab. And because you're going to need to keep listening where you're listening, open a new tab and go to the chat room, thetarotguild.com/chat, and I'm in there, and there's a link to the audio to listen to the show. I also popped in the spread that I did actually weeks ago now for this topic here on Psychic Spin. And if you're new to the show, Psychic Spin is a segment of the show that we do. Typically, lately we've been doing it the last Saturday of the month. We had a delay, so we had to postpone till today to do this one. But normally it's the last Saturday of the month. And what it is, we started it on other shows going way back down, Mary, Psychic Spin, and basically, we thought. You have the news programs and the talking heads commenting about the news, current events, things that are out there and, in the public mind. But we can do it with a psychic spin. because we can pull tarot cards, we can do numerology in certain situations. So that's what the Psychic Spin segment is. We pick something that's been, in the news or in the public mind of late. And Mary, it was you found a whole bunch of articles that had come out about the multiverse.
Yes, the many world theory in quantum mechanics. Well, the reason there were so many articles and stuff that were kind of hitting at the same time is that there's this wonderful book that just came out by physicist Sean Carroll. It's called Something Deeply Hidden, and it's really terrific, because I think that, it does get complex later in the book, but at least, most of the book, I think it's something that reminded me of Stephen Hawking's when his A Brief History of the Universe came out, in some of his other books, A Theory for Everything. He wrote so that, you didn't have to be a physicist to understand these concepts, and I feel like Sean Carroll has accomplished that too, and he talks a lot about, he does a great job of explaining how quantum mechanics works, and talks about the many worlds theory, and in a way that people can kind of, I think, grasp better than maybe if they've read like a textbook on it or tried to comprehend it in that way. So it's really a wonderful book. It would make a great Christmas present for somebody who's has an interest in physics.
Absolutely. And, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, you're going to find links to some of these articles below the video or below the audio player. We do video and we do audio. And one article is Something Deeply Hidden, the name of the book, Quantum Worlds and the Emergence of Space-Time. We also have an article, The Weirdest Idea in Quantum Physics is Catching On, and The Bizarre Logic of the Many Worlds Theory. Fascinating stuff. Yeah, and it's funny. It's how it says it's catching on. It caught on a long time ago from my perspective, because I saw the multiverse concept seep into science fiction, 30, 40 years ago. It's always been in the public consciousness, because we find it in our movies and our TV shows, right? Yeah,
well, the idea was first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett 50 years ago, So, and there's been movies like Another Earth is one from Fox Searchlight that came out in the 2000s, and I remember interviewing the physicists that consulted on that. That's a funny thing about these different sci-fi movies and even books and stuff, that sometimes really great writers aren't necessarily also great scientists, and so they will consult with either professors from universities or people working in theoretical physics, that kind of stuff, to kind of try to get their theories to hold water, so to speak. Right now, there's been a few, especially, we've talked about this before, how some of the time travel movies have just been preposterous, the way that they've been done. But with the many worlds theories, a lot of consulting happens with physicists and either Hollywood, producers, writers, that kind of thing, or even sci-fi book authors, because they want it to be plausible, right? At least.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of the comic book hero type TV shows, The Flash and Supergirl, and the especially the DC comic ones. They're on different Earths. So you'll have one set of heroes on Earth 1, and then Earth 23 is where Supergirl is, or or something along those lines. Anyway, and there's crossovers. In fact, they're in the middle of a giant crossover now where the entire multiverse is being destroyed. And,
Yeah.
and they're jumping from Earth to Earth. And it's interesting. It's always Earth, not, one of the other billions of planets in the entire universe. And then, but they're all in different universes in the multiverse.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think,
it's interesting too because it's like the theory is like there's no interaction between the worlds. It kind of the reason I think that it's like it comes from quantum mechanics is that idea that because quantum mechanics says an electron can be in a superposition in all possible locations. And so there's no such like one position of an electron, and so but when you observe one, you see it in one location, and so you have that. It's that fundamental mystery, right, of quantum mechanics of like how is that possible, and so basically, like the theory going back 50 years, whoever theory was to say that the different parts of that superposition where it exists everywhere, that those actually exist everywhere. So they're separate, they're non-interacting, but they still everything like still exists. It's just that it's not interacting because it's actually everywhere, but we only can observe it in one location. So it's trippy. And
yeah.
That's my
theories,
my conclusion. It's trippy.
These theories come along because they're trying to solve a problem in mathematics in a set of equations, and they'll come up with a theory so that they have a hypothesis of what will solve the problem, and so
how do they understand the data? Exactly.
By having multiple universes, having an infinite number of them, it allows them to solve this. But I think one of the problems is, in my mind, is that these theories, they slip into the public consciousness typically through fiction, science fiction, and we lock onto it like it's reality. When it hasn't actually been proven. In fact, the theory on the theory is that it may never be proven because you don't travel between the multiverses. You don't travel between the different universes. So how are you going to prove that? And the other thing that's nice about it is that it solves, in addition to the mathematics, it solves some other conundrums, that people have postulated about for years, where there's things like the Mandela effect, and it would provide an answer to that well, if there are multiple universes, maybe we occasionally accidentally slip from one universe to another, and that's why Nelson Mandela, is alive in this universe and dead in this universe, and so it explains certain things, and then there's people with missing time, and they swear that they've slipped to other locations and all, and maybe there's a crack in between the universes, and you're able to slip through, and then of course science fiction is based on that, sliders, all these
rifts in the space-time continuum, right? It's sliders. I love Sliders. That was such a great show.
Oh yeah, it was so fun. I love that show. And so if we do a psychic spin on this, though, if we pull some cards, are there infinite universes? Just ask the flat-out question. Did you pull, or are you pulling cards on that?
Yes, I am. I like to do it like just off the cuff because I don't want to think about it too much beforehand. But I'm pulling cards right now. Is this multiverse, many worlds theory? Is is it for real? Do they exist? And we just don't know. And first thing that comes up is the Temperance card. Isn't that funny? So to me, that's kind of a card of alchemy and the idea of blending, but also like that idea of moderation. So I feel like it's saying like, okay, hold on here, and then we have the Sun card, which is kind of interesting, on this kind of question too, because it's like when we think about it, at least our galaxy at least revolves around our sun, But then underlying everything is a Five of Cups, saying like, okay, and that gives me the feeling like maybe it's not exactly as it's being theorized right at the moment, I feel like there's something to the theory with this. It may actually involve, galaxies, rather than, many universes. We already know that there's many galaxies, but they may be, perhaps, this is a crazy thing to say because I also have the Six of Cups that comes up here, right? So I'm going to say is that there is something to this, but I feel like it also connects to the past. So, like, what if, we're talking about space and time. Maybe there needs to be a little more attention paid to the timeline or the idea of time, the theory of time, right? We can't prove that there's actual time. We create time to help us get along, right? But I think that this question, is being answered by these cards in such a way saying like, okay, there's something here, but maybe it's like a little bit moderate than the idea of like infinite universes, but there are like many worlds, but there may be like, worlds of the past that are still in existence in this theory. So I don't know. That's a crazy answer, but that's what I got.
It's not that crazy because, look at all these different things that have come out of quantum physics, including the multiverse theory, and a lot of them are really crazy ideas, and yet, your idea is not that much more crazy than what their ideas are that they're coming up with.
Well, what did you get?
So, what I got goes along really well with what you got, actually. In fact, I was, just excited that you got the Temperance card, because the Temperance card, for me, embodies exactly my thoughts on this. And I've talked on other shows about the Temprian principle and how the Temperance card shows us how there's a middle path. There's a narrow middle path between the two extremes. So whenever you have a dynamic system, in this case, there's one universe, there's multiple universes. The truth is always in the middle. And so I agree with you that, maybe, and it's interesting because when I did the reading as a straightforward yes, no, are there multiple universes or infinite universes, I got 3 out of 5 yes cards. And when I get 3 yeses or 3 nos, it's more of a maybe. It can really go either way. It could really go either way. In fact, I wrote about this in an article I recently published about that spread. And if you want to check it out, if you're into tarot, go over to thetarotguild.com and click on articles and look for my article. It's the little spread that could, and that's the spread that I'm using right now. And so it's kind of a leaning yes, but maybe there's more to it, like you were saying, kind of thing. And one of the cards I got was the Lover's card, and I also got the Hierophant. Both of those cards have duality in it, and the Lover's card, it's about choices, but it's also about love and harmony and union. the mixing of two opposites come together to form a new thing, which is very similar to the Temperance card, you see. And so what I'm getting in these cards, the first card is the Ten of Cups, and that's a really another harmony card, balance card, and it's joy and harmony and lasting friendships and family life and success and happiness and matrimony and all this great stuff, and it's really shiny and wonderful looking, and so they come out with this theory, and it explains so much, and it solves equations and things like that. But hold on, because the Ten of Cups, all the 10 cards in tarot are past the completion of 9 in traditional numerology. And when you look at all the 10 cards in the minor arcana, you see how it can be overkill. So sometimes with the Ten of Cups, we're getting over excess and showing off to the neighbors kind of thing, and that kind of thing. And I feel like some of this is going on where it solves these things, and so we're jumping on the bandwagon when it's not been proven yet. And then the Hierophant card talks about the quest for knowledge and academic preparation and ritual and routine and things like that. And I think it's a great card for the science establishment. They come up with these theories, like for instance, I'm trying to say, the theory of relativity, which some of the later quantum physics kind of messes with, and then things like Charles Darwin.
Evolution and natural selection.
Right. So that comes along, and it becomes the dogma of science, and everybody jumps on the bandwagon as if it's gospel when it's not been 100% proven. And then over the last 100 years, a lot of holes have been. It's not been wiped away. It's been shown that yes, there's evolution, but there's problems with it, and there's missing information and things like that. And later on in my spread, I get the Ace of Wands and the Nine of Wands, and what that suggests to me is that, and it's in the future positions, and what that suggests to me is that there will be other ideas that come along that morph this theory and make it either more provable or solve it better, and that ultimately the Nine of Wands is a card of eventual victory, and it's plans coming to fruition, things like that. Ultimately we will get an answer. It'll get solved somehow. I just feel that there's a lot. I just feel there's a lot more to it that we're not looking at. And here, let me throw out, as I finish up here, let me just throw out my theory, which goes along with what I'm getting in this reading, which is that the scientists that are working on this, and they come up with the theory, and it solves equations, it solves certain things, and that's why they like it, okay? But they're not taking into context, or they're not taking into the thoughts and the equations, other things that are beyond the physical universe. You mentioned time, that's one. The other one for me is consciousness, the spiritual realm, and it's not just this one theory, but it's all of science. I don't think that they're going to ultimately be able to solve all the great mysteries until they start taking into the mix consciousness and other realms like the spiritual realm, other unseen forces things along those lines. Because what I really think is going on here is not that there are physically multiple universes out there. Remember, this theory is solving the problem of, how can the electron be in one position and all positions at the same time?
Yeah.
And it can do that if it simultaneously exists in all those other different positions, because there are an infinite number of universes. But those universes don't have to be physical. Remember, everything that is physical in the physical universe started as consciousness. It was manifested in the being. In fact, these subatomic particles that we're talking about, even the scientists admit that they pop in and out of existence, seemingly out of another place, a field, and they've called this the zero-point field or the quantum field, and this is where these particles pop in and out of. And I just say, they're just talking about the spiritual realm. They're talking about the realm of pure consciousness, where physical things manifest out of, you see. And so my theory is that the multiverse theory might be basically correct, but that these other universes, these infinite universes where the subatomic particle can be in superposition, because it's in every possible position at the same time, and only in our universe is it in that one position when we observe it, which is, by the way, that's the big clue right there, is that when do we have an observable particle in a specific position? When consciousness observes it. That's when it pops into that position, you see. And so my theory is that it is in all possible positions in an infinite number of universes, which are not physically manifest, but actually just within the superconsciousness. They're within the spiritual realm. They have the possibility to exist, but they don't exist because they haven't been manifested. Consciousness has not brought them into physicality. And the reason why we have the universe that we do, with the physicality that we do, with the particles where they are, is because it's kind of an agreed upon thing, all of us together, the billions of us, all sharing this existence, that we are able to have seemingly a shared physical reality. But we don't even know if that's true. There's the theory of the holographic universe, so.
Well, yeah, it's like, what's reality? But it's interesting, though,
Matrix,
because it's like,
I
think exactly. And I feel like this is like more of an, instead of many worlds, it's more like an interdimensional kind of thing. And the thing that kind of strikes me is that you and I both, and the cards that came up, there are cards that are pointing to this idea of intersection, of alchemy, of blending, of combining. And you mentioned, people that have experiences like lost time, or they, all these weird things that kind of pop in and out of existence. They could be popping in and out of another dimension. And the thing that to me is, like there's a great book out there. I don't know if people have read it or not, called The Physics of Angels. It was written by Rupert Sheldrake and Matthew Fox, where you had like somebody coming at it scientifically with somebody coming at it from more of a spiritual thing, and they try to kind of meet those two together. So I think that is, definitely an idea there, the idea of a spiritual dimension or a spiritual realm. And what's really funny to me, and in that book, Physics of Angels, they talk about photons, right? It being like angels, but it sort of fits with the idea of electrons too. What's interesting is, like, oftentimes, and it's more like new agey stuff that I wouldn't say, we can definitely, back up a lot of what is said necessarily, but most people when they get interested in angels, and oftentimes, the number one angel is Archangel Michael. One of the things that a lot of different authors have written about is this concept that Archangel Michael can be everywhere at once. If you call upon him, you're not taking him away from anything else, and that's exactly what the quantum mechanics tells us about electrons, that they can be everywhere at once. And Sheldrake and Fox in their book says the same, similar thing about photons. So I think that there's a whole other aspect to this that I think is very difficult. Scientists depend on being able to get grants, and they want to be in peer review. They want to have their stuff in peer reviewed journals and stuff, and so it's very difficult if they step into the spiritual realm, talking about consciousness, talking about some of these other concepts. They're scared to do it, because that means, like, okay, you don't get the grant money, nobody's going to listen to you anymore, and it's not just individual scientists; it's a scientific community as a kind of
as a whole,
set up right now. Yeah, so it's kind of a shame, and until that kind of loosens, I think, they're going to be stuck with, unprovable theories that match up until they don't match up, and then you go on to a theory that explains why it doesn't match up. That's how it works.
Right, yeah. So there you go, the psychic spin on infinite universes. I because you brought up photons, I want to leave you with one thing, is that photons, like electrons, can exist as particles or waves, okay?
Yeah.
And often angels are described as, the angels of light. There's another thing, too. The word angel, angels are the messengers of the divine, messengers, bringing information. And it's been shown that information can be transported on photons.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? So there you go.
It's wild. It's wild and awesome.
Yeah. So, folks, if you've been listening in, you're listening live, this is the time to call in. We're going to go to phone line soon, 714-816-4628. When you get through, remember to press number 1 on your dial pad. We have a bunch of people called in that haven't raised their hand, so they might just be listening to the show. That's something else you can do. Just dial in and don't press 1, and we just assume you're listening to the show. However, if you want to be live on air with us, press 1 on your dial pad right now, 714-816-4628. Remember, I'm in the chat room over on the Tarot Guild website, thetarotguild.com/chat, or if you're on the website, just click chat in the navigation bar at the top of any page, and join me in the chat room. I'd love to chat. You can also see the spread that I just used for Are There Infinite Universes. I popped that image in the chat so you can see it. Later on after the show, I'll be sure to post that on all of our groups. On Facebook, there's the Psychic Talk Radio group, and there's the Tarot Guild group. And there's 5,300 or more people on the Tarot Guild group now. It's growing by leaps and bounds, several people a day now. It's just amazing, Mary.
It's awesome. We're so happy to have everybody join us.
Yes. So real quickly, before we go to the first call, I did want to mention, because we are at the bottom of the hour, the upcoming shows. And tomorrow, Monday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. I forgot. We don't have a show. We don't have a show this Sunday because Angelic Realms is on hiatus for the holidays, and Maria Mas will be back with new shows in 2020. So the first and the third Sundays, there won't be a show for a while, but on the second and the fourth Sundays, Sharona Rapsick will be doing her Magic Universe show. So there won't be a show tomorrow, but Monday, December 16th, we have a double header for you, Wisdom of the Soul with Janice Fuchs and Compassionate Light, Healing and Guidance with Catherine Hahn. She started last week a new series of shows on the heart of service. Perfect for this time of the year, too, as well. And then I'll be back on Friday, December 20th with Dr. Rose Wilkerson, and we're doing an Open Lines and Tarot mini reading show all show long on The Doctors Are In next Friday. And Mary and I will be back next Saturday, December 21st, just a few days before Christmas Eve. So if you haven't, made those last gift purchases, or you have to buy for somebody that, has everything, or, needs some help with that, we're doing a show called Giving the Perfect Gift with Tarot. We're actually going to have a spread for you to use, a gift spread and a tarot spread for laying out the cards. And we'll also be taking your calls, of course, with open lines and mini readings next Saturday. And Sunday, December 22nd, Light Workers and the Season of Light on Magic Universe with Sharona. So that's the upcoming shows. You can find them all at psychictalk.net/upcoming. So, are you ready to see who's out there? I see some people popping in.
Let's do it.
They're popping in now. Yeah, some folks have just joined us, but there's other folks, like our first caller, that's been hanging on patiently for like 50 minutes. Oh, my God. Let's bring them on. Area code 920. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Penny, and I'm calling from Wisconsin.
Hi.
I
Hi.
hope you've been enjoying the show.
Yes, it's
Thanks
very interesting. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Terrific. Did you want a mini reading, or what did you want to talk about?
Yes, I would like a mini reading. Wondering if you see anything as far as a long-term. I'm looking for the real deal in relationships, and I'm wondering if you pick up anything on that.
Looking for the real deal.
Yeah.
Dax, should I go first, or should you go first, Dax? What are we doing?
You go first.
Okay, I will go first. So what about this real deal relationship that you're looking for? What do we see around that? Okay. You can probably hear me shuffling. I try to do it quietly. Okay. So, well, yeah, it's interesting. So underneath everything that comes up here is the Ten of Cups, and that's really what we want. We want the whole shebang, right? We want the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be happy. We want that. In the Ten of Cups, you have a rainbow of cups overhead, and it's just this beautiful imagery of this couple standing there, and they're so emotionally happy and content. And above that, we get the Moon card. The moon makes it cloudy. It's like I can't see the person. What's interesting to me with this is above the moon is the Judgment card. So I do feel like it is possible to have that real deal coming in. And the thing about the Judgment card that's so fascinating to me is like you get this idea of one of the things of a calling, or of destiny or karma. One of the things I used to say about the Judgment card is like, oh, karmic keys are jingling. So I feel like this relationship that we're talking about and that we're looking for and that we're thinking of would be like a big important relationship. So not just you meet a nice person and it's terrific and you're happy, but if that's sort of meant to be kind of feel to it, right? And how do we get there? It's really interesting because I feel like all of this coming up is talking about like, okay, this is in the cards for her. But how we get there is really interesting. First of all, we have the Five of Swords. And it's like saying like, okay, we've got to step out of our comfort zone a little bit with this. It's not just going to fall into our lap. The Five of Swords to me is an interesting card because fives a lot of times are about challenges and conflicts, but a lot of times the Five of Swords, I see it as a card dealing with boundaries. And it's saying like, examine your boundaries. Have you kind of painted yourself into like like a limited, area. Can you step out of that? Can you reach beyond it? Because we have the Six of Pentacles as the other card that comes up with this. And the Six of Pentacles is great as a card of giving and generosity and stuff. And with the Moon card in the center, it's like saying, okay, to find this person, you're going to have to give someone the benefit of the doubt and get a little bit out of your comfort zone. I don't think that this is something that's going to happen overnight. To me, I would take it all the way out. Say, look, this could happen within the next 6 months. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but it is going to require to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. Let's see what Dax is getting. Maybe he can fill in some more specifics.
I do have some more specifics, and what I'm getting is right in alignment with what you're saying. The central focus card is the Four of Swords. Four is structure in numerology. Swords is the air element, so we're talking about thoughts and ideas. It's a card of recharging, retreat, taking a step back. But think of four, think of structure, think of four walls, think of a box. And as I said, swords, thoughts and ideas. This is literally the thinking outside of the box card, which is just what Mary said. That this is going to happen, but it's going to require some work. You're actually going to have to think outside the box a little bit here. I got 4 out of 5 yes cards. Mary, you got the 10 of Cups. I got the 9 of Cups, which is literally the wish come true card, and the Star card, which is literally the card of hope, faith, optimism. Yeah. And the Star card is also a card talking about your intuition, and I got the High Priestess, which also talks about intuition. So basically, the Tarot, Penny, wants you to focus on your inner guidance as you move forward with this. And it could take some time, I'm getting 4 as the energy here. I feel like it could happen as quick as 4 weeks, as long as 4 months. But it's definitely going to be after the first of the year.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
And I have a little bit more information, just real quickly. There is, at the very last card, there is somebody coming in, and it's the King of Pentacles, the King of Coins. That's the earth element. So potentially a Taurus, a Virgo, a Capricorn. This is somebody that is either your age or maybe a little chronologically older, or maybe mature, and a real solid, reliable kind of person. This is a respected person, somebody with dogged determination, a consistent nature, somebody that's resourceful, financially competent, comfortable, even traditional. I'll go as far as to say traditional. So, yeah, there is somebody. And I would not be surprised if they don't turn out to be a Capricorn or a Virgo or a Taurus. Doesn't have to be. You could just have those elements, but that's what I'm seeing.
Awesome. Very interesting. Well, I can't wait to see what comes.
Awesome.
You'll have to call in again and let us know.
I will do that. Thank you.
Terrific.
Thanks
for calling.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and happy holidays as well. Let's see. I want to remind everybody, when you call in, make sure you press 1 on your dial pad so we know that you want to be live on air. I see a number that I think called in, but then they called back in, but they haven't raised their hand. And so I just want to remind everybody, call in at 714-816-4628, press 1 on your dial pad. If you're Skyping in, you have to open the dial app. On the app, you have to open the dial pad and press 1. Okay, let's see. Who's been waiting the longest out there? It looks like area code 781. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from, hon?
Hi, this is Laura. I'm calling from Boston.
Awesome.
From Boston.
What's it like in Austin right now?
Oh, Boston, sorry.
Oh, Boston. What's it like in Boston? That's what I thought you said.
Yes.
Well, there was snow, but today it rained, so luckily a lot of it melted. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I'm down here in the desert in Tucson, and when you said Boston, that's the first thing that popped in my mind was like, oh, I wonder if there's snow up there.
Yeah,
so what's going on with you there?
So
Nice.
I've just been having some health issues on and off, and I think that also sometimes I feel like my sensitivities get me confused with whether it's a health issue or it's like a sensitivity that's confusing me, like I'm getting some kind of feeling from a spirit, for example, and then I get confused and think, oh, I have a stomach ache. So I was just wondering if you had advice about, or what Spirit said about, differentiating the two.
Do you consider yourself empathic?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. And have you kind of, have you done any work on this? Have you checked into empath, Dr. Judith Orloff has a great book called The Empath Survival Guide, in which she talks a lot about how you can recognize what's your stuff and what's not your stuff,
Yeah. I need to do more of that, yeah.
Yeah, because that's one place where I would kind of start with, and definitely look, a good thing to do, when we're dealing with health issues is to also, make sure that, you're seeking a competent, medical professional, have yourself get up. When's the last time you had a physical? Have everything checked out. See if there could be, any physical issues, because a lot of times, I feel like, we got to do the detective work. We've got to rule out certain things, and then when we come back to, okay, this is a spiritual sensitivity thing. This is an empath thing going on with me, and then we learn how to, develop that stuff. There's a lot of different methods that people use. How much of these physical issues going on, that you're kind of confused about whether they're actual physical issues or they're sensitivity issues, how many of those do you feel are connected to emotions for you?
Probably half.
Okay. Because there's also, another thing that can be really helpful is to look into things like emotional, they call it EQ, emotional intelligence, and even trying something like learning tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique. Those things might be also useful. What do you think, Jax?
Yeah, so, my first gut instinct when I drew the cards, looking at this, is it this or is it this? That I want to say that my first gut instinct is that it's less empathic in nature and more physical, and that's just the first thing that comes through. But a lot of these cards that I'm getting are talking about introspection and looking at it very, very carefully, very carefully. The Queen of Cups really gives us the hint here. This is another card that's about intuition, being intuitive, listening to your intuition, but it's also a card about the healing arts. And so, Mary's dead on that you need to explore some of those areas and take a deeper look at this overall. Listen to your gut instinct. And, that's really one way. There's a whole bunch of techniques that you can use that allow you to simply just ask the question. Your physical body knows what's going on, and you can ask the question, is this a physical issue, or is this, something I'm just being empathic and I'm picking up on other people? there's a lot of different possibilities, but you can ask the question. You can do muscle testing. You can do just a gut check with the solar plexus. There's a lot of different techniques that you can use. But learning EFT and even NLP, there's a lot of NLP, neurolinguistics techniques that come into play here, and I'd find somebody that's a practitioner that, works with those modalities and explore this deeper.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yep. That's what I'm getting.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for the call, Laura,
Yeah.
and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy holidays.
You too.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Okay, so that opens another line at 714-816-4628. We still have a few minutes left if you want to jump on, and we can take you real quickly. Remember to press 1 on your dial pad. If you want to be live on air with us, let's see. And so the next caller waiting the longest is area code 520. Hello, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm so sorry. I put an Nabisco miniature size in my mouth just as you took my call. I didn't think you were going to.
Surprise.
Surprise.
I'm in Arizona, and I'm Lisa. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay, and can you say that? I didn't get that. Was it Lisa?
I'm from Arizona, and my name is Lisa. And thank you for.
Lisa from Arizona, Dak's neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to hear you. It's a little muffled on my end. I don't know why. You might be traveling or something. But
I am, but I've got everything off. I have everything turned off. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, as quiet as my house.
Get as close to the mic as you can, and be as loud as possible. And so, what would you like to ask about?
Well, I just dropped off my 4-year-old grandson to his mom. He was spending time with me. And I probably won't see him until after Christmas. Do you see my Christmas and his Christmas being okay?
Mhm. Was that the question?
Yeah, please.
So, okay. I think I didn't get that. So you want to know, do we see, his Christmas and your Christmas being okay? Is that right?
Will my grandson have a good Christmas? Well, Lisa, who's on the phone right now, have a good Christmas.
Got it. Right. Well, we have good Christmases. It's so funny, isn't it? Dax, I think it's your turn. Is it your turn? It's got to be your turn, right?
I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see what's coming up here. I'm going to put Lisa on hold because there's just so much background noise. It's looking really positive. When I look at it as just a yes/no, I'm getting 3 out. It looks like I want to say 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 yeses here. It's leaning that way. There is something that's going to happen. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Just to give you a heads up, there's something showing up here that might happen, that might throw a monkey wrench into things, But ultimately, everything, and it also looks like you're going to be balancing, with the 2 of Pentacles. It looks like a little juggling act going on here throughout the holidays here. But I did get the Knight of Cups and the 6 of Cups. The 6 of Cups is that nostalgia card, and we all fall back into nostalgia during the holiday seasons there. And the Knight of Cups is often good messages coming, and Cups is emotions, and this is a card of emotional fulfillment. So it's looking really, really good. The Queen of Pentacles shows up and she's the nurturing card as well. So basically, the tarot saying that things are going to be fine, but really hold on to that. Hold on to the nostalgia. Hold on to the nurturing. Be the nurturer, even if you can't, be with your loved ones, or at least all of them, during the actual holiday itself. You can still reach out to them, and just be the nurturer in the equation here. What are you getting, Mary?
It's interesting, and I think I think she said he was 5 years old, right? Because I'm getting a few fives around his Christmas. I did kind of a side-by-side spread here. Lisa's Christmas looks great, It really does. I think at the Eight of Pentacles, the Three of Cups comes up. We have the Page of Pentacles, the Emperor card, and that's terrific. And, for him, I feel like saying it's like all's well that ends well. It's hard to be 5. I don't know how many of us recall that age, but, there's like sometimes we don't get everything we want, or we don't get everything our way, and we can feel like a little bit stymied or a little bit frustrated. But we end with the Sun card. So I feel like it turns out to be a good Christmas. He may be dealing with a little bit of frustration kind of going into the holiday, but, it turns out, pretty well in the end there. But so it looks like a good Christmas for both of them. I think it's just sometimes it's tough to be 5 years old.
There you go.
Thank
Does that
you.
help, Lisa?
Thank you. It
Awesome.
does. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for calling.
And
enjoy your holiday.
Calling. And your weekend. Yeah, it's the weekend still. Yay. Bye, Lisa. As she's traveling along there. Yeah. Yeah. So we're coming up on the end of the show here. We got a couple of minutes left. We're coming up on the end of the year, the beginning of the new year, and I just wanted to chat a little bit about our Friday show and our Saturday show, where we focus on tarot here. Interestingly, I'm seeing that, we're doing an open line show next Friday. We're going to take Friday the 27th off because it's Christmas week. We did the same thing with Thanksgiving this year as well. And when Rose and I come back on January 3rd, it's the very first show of the year.
Wow.
We get to do it on the Friday show. Yeah. So we're going to be doing New Year's readings.
Then I get to do the second. This is the second show
yes.
here.
Your Mystical Musing show on the 4th. We've got that show on the 21st, next Saturday, Giving the Perfect Gift with Tarot. And then on the 28th, we're doing a open lines and mini readings all show long. And so that'll be post-Christmas and right before the new year. So there should be a lot of questions. Should I return Uncle Frank's gift? I don't know. I don't know what you're going to call in and ask about. Yeah. And then January, we get into the new year, and we got Mystical Musings, and then our first show together is Psychic Saturday on January 11th, and it's Welcome to 2020, and we'll be talking about this World Year of 4 that we're going into. I have it set up so that the show on the 10th, on the Friday show, we're going to talk about personal year numbers for 2020, and then the next day on our show, Mary will talk about the World Year of 4. So I'm kind of trying to line the shows up a little bit here. And what else is going on? So then the 18th is our next show after that in January, and it's a couple of days before the 20th, which is our anniversary. So we'll be actually celebrating and holding the anniversary on that show,
for the Tarot
January
Guild.
18th. Yeah, well, the Tarot Guild was actually October 31st was the 15th anniversary, and the January 2020 date is the anniversary of our very first radio show, Tarot Today, and our very first website ever. And so just in time for that anniversary, we have the new website. We'll be talking all about that and having our 10th anniversary of our, first online ventures, the website and the radio show. So that'll be January 18th. So that's a bunch of the stuff that's coming up over the next several weeks on Fridays and Saturdays. Do you know what your topic is January 4th for Mystical Musings?
No.
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 Okay.
Yes, I don't know. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm kicking around a few ideas. I'm just kind of waiting for a sign. And then,
to be announced.
I'll let you know. Don't you love having hosts like me? It's like I'm waiting for a sign, Dax, and then I'll let you know what to put on the schedule.
To be announced. By the way, Catherine Hahn does that. Catherine Hahn does that on her Monday shows. She doesn't do anything without the angels. So she waits till the angels tell her what to do. And
exactly.
It's hilarious because I still won't have a topic for her show on Monday, and she'll message me on like Saturday, and she'll say, "Oh, the angels just told me I'm going to be talking about this."
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's funny. I do. It's very similar. Like I will have I'll wait until like a few ideas or something just kind of pop up, and then I'll ask. And I've had times where it's like, sometimes you get a response where you feel like, oh, okay, I guess that idea sucks, like there's like this sort of like meh kind of response. So I'm like, okay, you suggest something.
There you go. Yeah. Well, this was a great show, and I had fun. I want to thank all of our listener callers. We don't have a show without the callers and the listeners, and I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and thank you for being here, Mary.
Well, thank you, Dax, and thank everybody for tuning in today, and I hope everybody has a great Psychic Saturday. Bye, everybody.
And I did want to mention real quick before I forget, for everybody to check out our article on the it's under articles on the tarotguild.com. Yeah, because we did an article on surviving the holidays stress-free, and we also did a radio show on it, which is linked on that article. You can listen to that show. So if you're needing some de-stressors, we have an article and a whole radio show for you right there under articles on thetarotguild.com. Come over and join us on the website if you're into tarot. It's free to join us on thetarotguild.com. And we'll be talking more and officially launching the new website / social networking site in January. So it's really exciting stuff, folks. Goodbye, everybody. Yeah. Goodbye, Mary.
Bye, Dax. Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Good night, John.
Good night, Marianne.